Hey folks, Panda here, firearms instructor. Thought of the day. Regular day, heading home about 4:30. Today I spent a good part of the day working with Steve Austin's people, not the wrestler, the astronaut from back in the day on TV. Worked with that agency a lot. As an instructor, you owe it to your students. Don't get caught up in calling courses a fire. When you're just prior to your qualification course and you have students that don't know how to reset a trigger, don't know how to find the wall, don't know how to grip the gun, every mistake they're making is stuff that should have been taught at the very beginning, that people should have spent some time on, right? They're missing the basics. If you teach your students to shoot, a course of fire is totally irrelevant. Teach them to shoot. Teach them the skills they need. You hear me say this over and over and over. Break down the skills into as smaller pieces, as smaller bites as you can. Get those small bites, drill them, drill them, drill them. Okay? Make sure they understand it before you move on. Depending on where you're teaching, whether it be a law enforcement academy, a commercial entity, or doing private classes. Some of it's the same, but some of it is drastically different. When you're teaching at a law enforcement academy, we're going to do everything we can to make sure the students pass. So they're going to get after hours. They're getting paid to be there. And some of them, we got to work hard. If you're teaching a commercial class, a lot of the commercial classes by the bigger entities are set up. They're on a hard timeline. They'll tell you, you're not teaching down to the lowest student. Yeah, crap. You're teaching on a timeline. You're running your drills by round count, and everything's on the clock. The goal on a commercial setting is to get them to come back and take more. Okay? I've done that before too, depending on who you're working for. Teaching private classes, you spend a little bit more time and really breaking down the basics. A lot of times a private class, you don't get anywhere where you need to be, right? You don't reach the end of the class because if the students aren't there, you slow it down. If they surpass what you intended on teaching, it's not a commercial class, so I'm not worried about them coming back for another one. I give them what they need. As an instructor, you got to look at the classes. You have to break down skill sets to their smallest possible minutia. Train, train, train. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Practice, practice, practice under the watchful eye of a qualified instructor. The problem I have in all three of these entities is the final piece, the qualified instructor. As an instructor, you've got to get out and prove your skill set. You've got to become better. And I would tell you from my Special Forces days, anything you were teaching while I was a Green Beret, you had to be at least one level above all your students, certified, right? If you're going to teach something, you got to be better than they are. Get out, get the training, seek the training, take pride in what you do so you understand it, so you can teach it. I don't get mad at students anymore, especially at work. I get upset at instructors that don't put the time in, don't follow a good process, and are more worried about courses of fire than teaching skill sets. See you on the range.